In the name of God, the merciful forgiving. Forgiving like the sun, which is the source of light and shines from itself. Like a father who has a piece of her being in her mother's pregnancy. Like the earth, it is a mother that reflects the particles of the sun's radiation on the limb. Earth is the mother of man, and God chose her for the birthplace of man. Because it is rich in water, so it is pregnant with the superior creature of God, the man. The ancient people saw the earth as a mother who is pregnant with herbs, animals, and humans, and may have thought that they would enter another world at the time of the birth, change of generation, and then death. Under the ground, where they would call it underworld or the world of the dead. For humankind, whose life was dependent on earth, and the winter when the trees were buried in the snow and cold snowy fields, it owes its dedication to the exodus that was stored in the other half of the year. Its degeneration was the death of a vegetable abandonment, and its passing to the world of the dead. The costumes that sprouted from the ground and the nymphs that were sprouting into the trees were like a life after death. It's as if a life has returned from the world of the dead, a world in which has the power of growth and lots of resources and mines. This is where Haji Pirooz comes from. There are lots of quotes about Haji Pirooz. The story of Haji Pirooz, whose philosophy has changed for many years, and it is said he sang as a slave. This has been the subject of many scholars. Some thought Haji Pirooz is Siyavush. Siyavush, the son of Kekavus, returned to his father's palace after he was taught how to order the army from Rostam in Zabulistan. Sudabe, the wife of Kekavus, was in love with Siyavush and set lots of traps for him. But when Siyavush became angry over her and told Kekavus about her, she accused Siyavush for this love. Kekavus, on the advice of priests, set fire to the sinner to recognize the innocent. Siyavush crossed the fire with his horse and came out healthy. Sudabe was also forgiven because of Siyavush's mediation. The next day, Kekavus had a feast for the whole city. Some believe that maybe the next day was the last Wednesday of the year. Others believed that Haji Pirooz was the guardian of the Zoroastrian fire temples, and therefore his face was blackened. This belief, however, comes from Haji religious terms. But research on the ancient plate of Ishtar proved that the history of Haji Pirooz is very ancient and old, and it is related to the story of the Holy Marriage. The prevailing belief in the Mesopotamian region is that the marriage of the goddess of fertility and herbalism causes greenery and return to life to the world, like Inanna and King Dumuzi in the Sumerian mythology. Or most famous in Egyptian myths, which are the two gods, Isis and Osiris. Among the four sisters and brothers named Seth, Osiris, Isis, and Nemesis. Osiris, who was the commander of the earth, was killed by his brother. His wife, Isis, with the help of his sister, gathered his corpses in various places and found strength to travel to the world of the dead. In this legend, Isis went to the world of the dead and got pregnant by her husband. Isis is the goddess of fertility of the Egyptian people. In the legend of Greece, Persephone is the daughter of Demeter and Zeus. Zeus is the god of rain and thunder and wind, the lord of the sky, and Demeter is the goddess of agriculture and fertility. Once, when Persephone was playing and picking up flowers in the garden, Hades, the god of the underworld, bursts out of the ground and grabs her and took her with him. Demeter became angry and swept away the wrath of Ganats and dried up the entire corpse and agriculture. Hermes, who like Haji Pirooz can travel to the world of the dead, convinced Hades to bring Persephone back to the earth for 2/3 of the year, spring to winter. And so, cultivation and fertility would return to earth. There are similar legends in India, Syria, and Palestine. But the greatest fertility goddess in ancient Persia is Anahita. The middle days, months, and weeks in hibernation await their beloved. Amo Nowruz, on the last day of the month of Bahman, returns from the world of the dead with the help of Haji Pirooz, in order to get himself to earth and wake her up from hibernation. And perhaps the goddess of the goddesses that comes at the end of winter like Amo Nowruz, in order to get himself to earth and wake her up from hibernation. On their wedding day, Sepandar Mazgan, the earth becomes pregnant with Bahar, or spring. Haji Pirooz is the legend of the holy marriage that goes to the world of the dead. The word Haji comes from the word Hagias Nabarzes, which means the sacred battle, and he, the holy victor, is the one who succumbed to death and cold, and every year brings the agricultural god, or Amo Nowruz, with him to marry the fertility goddess, Anahita. His black face symbolizes death, and his red dress is a symbol of blood that has brought new vitality.